Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Traitors RHAPpy podcast. I am your host, of course, the Bishop of Deception, the Sultan of Suspicion, Pooya and Brian Scally, ready back once again. And with me today, I've got a special treat for you all. We are blessed truly to be in the presence of someone incredible. She is, of course, the host of not one but two Traitors shows, both French-speaking and English-speaking in Canada. It is Karine Vanasse here with us today. Karine, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Actually, the francophone version of the show it will only air in Quebec in a few months,
Yes.
but the English version started. Yes.
Yes, and we're here to talk about the English version. We obviously saw the first episode drop. Karine, I have a couple questions for you specifically before we get in there. What drew you to be a part of the Traitors?
Well, I'll answer your question, I promise, but I just have to say that I haven't spoken to many people who have watched the episode so far.
Oh,
So I'm really excited to I would have many questions right now to you, but it's okay. I'll answer yours. It's fine. So what drew me to this show? Well, I never thought I would be hosting that kind of show. I'm an actor. I'm having amazing parts to play, great projects both in French and in English. I've been offered to host shows, reality TV shows before, and I've always said no. I don't know. Maybe I didn't find why it would make sense for me to be hosting it. When they came to me for the Traitors, I watched the Australian version, and I saw the fun that the host was having. I could see why, as an actor, it would make sense for me to be hosting this show. How it could build up this character, this lady of the manor, with outfits. And I just felt that it would be fun, that it would be engaging. The kind of the casting also of the players. In Quebec we have, you saw the casting for the English version here in Canada, but that mix of reality TV personalities and just regular Canadians, magicians, psychic, but people who can read others or who know that they have good abilities at reading situations, good in tense situations as well, and see how they think that they could easily find their way through this game and watch it all crumble as they realize that when you're confused and being manipulated, and well, it's easy to lose track of your own sense of perception and what you think of certain situations. So it was very, very fun for me to do that.
I love to hear that. And I also, the Australian version, Roger is a great host. So I love that he's the one that you did enjoy as well. My question to you is, are you a big reality TV fan? And then a sub question is, were you familiar with any of the cast prior to them being on the show here?
I'm not a big TV reality fan. And I think and I've spoken to many people who are not reality TV fans who loved the Traitors. And I think to me, that was also something to know, that this show attracts viewers who are not necessarily reality TV fans. That was all, and it had that effect on me. I understood, like, to me, it felt like, when sometimes as a movie lover, I watch a documentary, and even as an actor, I'm like, when I watch a really good documentary, I'm even questioning why I'm an actor. I'm like, we should just watch real people go through real situations. It's so much more real. Like, it's amazing to see when it's well made. And I feel like with the Traitors, it's the same thing. It felt like shooting a thriller series. Yeah. And I feel like when I watch it, that's how it feels as well. Like, it's not about watching people in their daily life. It's really about watching them as an experiment. And you'll tell me that many other reality shows are about that as well. But I think maybe it was even more specifically focused on that. How do these people play the game?
And then yeah, and there's a reason why I'm manning down the Traitors podcast, is because I really fell in love with the format of this show and what it can give you.
What do you like about it? Just so I know what to answer in.
So for me, it's I love a good detective game. I love trying to figure out who is what. But obviously with the traitors, the difference with the other shows is that they immediately tell you who the traitors are. And I love watching the game from their lens. And then I love watching the faithfuls try and piece it together. So I'm a sucker for that. And I love what you said earlier about all the different job titles some of the cast members have, where they're here proficient in reading things in their occupation. So you got a sidekick, they're here very good at reading what they do in their occupation. You've got someone in public relations, they know really well how to deal with people in that sense. So it's fun to see a clash of all these occupations and all these people's lives, to see who's going to reign supreme amongst them, who's going to be the best reader, who's going to be the best deliberator. And I'm a sucker for stuff like that. You know, we've got Mike the magician. We also have Kevin, who is both has played Big Brother and is a poker player. Who's got the best hand here? Who's going to be able to read it better? So that's really what I'm a sucker for here.
And from based on the first episode that you saw, who are you excited to follow through this game based on the characters and the personalities that were presented to you?
I absolutely love this question. So for me, I'm coming in. So I knew 3 of the cast well because I cover Big Brother. So I've watched Kuzi play, Kevin play, and I watched Erica play Survivor. For me, I was very keen to see where Kuzi and Kevin are going to go here. And I actually have a question for you about Kevin. We'll get there in a second. But for right now, after episode 1, how is Kuzi going to do as a traitor? She wants that blood. So I'm excited to see how she plays this game. And then for me, I'm new to Mike, but I feel like he's got something going on. So I'm very excited to see how he's going to execute it as well. And I'm excited to meet the other players, Karine, because with the first episode, because obviously like with Australia, with the other formats, you get like a batch drop of 2 or 3 episodes. So you're immediately, you figure people out. I'm going to have to marinate on a week and be like, is Colin going to be in trouble or no? Am I going to meet him? We'll see. So I'm very excited about it in that regard. Now, what did you see in the 3 traitors you selected? I'm very curious. What was it that drew those 3 to the roles for you?
Well, if we start with Kuzi,
yes,
she wanted it so badly.
yeah.
And sometimes, and to be honest, Pooya, I can't share too many spoilers, and I'm not going.
Of course.
Because I know not only you is listening right now. But to some of them, when I asked them the question, when I was interviewing them the first day that they got to the manor, when I asked them, do you want to be a traitor or faithful? Some of them answered, well, finally, I think I'll be a better faithful than a traitor. And we listen to them. If we need good faithful anyway. There's both. We talk about the traitors a lot right now, but we need good faithful. We do need them. So that's one thing. And I mean, we could have gone in so many different directions. I mean, it could have been Kevin would have been maybe a more. He would have been obviously an amazing traitor, but maybe too much of an obvious choice. And it was so interesting to see how he would play the game as a faithful. I think myself and the production, we were so interested in seeing this player that we've seen playing Big Brother being so good. We know he's a good poker player. Can he, is he a good team player? Could he do that? Could he make people trust him instead of just being scared of him and just doubting what he does or says? So we were interested to see Kevin as a faithful. That's one thing. But Kuzi, yeah, she wanted it so much. And there was just something about her energy that felt like, she would be really an engaging traitor to watch. Mike, I'm so glad we got Mike. Because there's something, I mean, he's not a TV, like, once again, he's not a TV reality person, but I feel like there's something so charismatic about him. And we want our traitors to be charismatic. We need to want to come back to them, and we see them so much during the episodes. So Mike is interesting. And then Mel B, she's such a big reality TV fan. So we knew she would know. There was I don't know. It was just a feeling.
Yeah.
It was just. I mean, all of them, like we say at the beginning of the show, they all have the potential to be a traitor. So it was just a matter of that day, by just watching them behave with each other. And that's one thing about the format that I love is, and they really do it with all the various versions of the show, is that we don't know who the traitors will be when they arrive on site. So it's really through the interviews and by watching them interact with each other that really make our decision.
I love that, because I think my prediction coming in was, I think one of, obviously the trio of Erica, Kuzi, and Kevin, I was like, one of them's a traitor. I thought two could be a traitor, but I love that they weren't, because like you said, I like the idea that if you are going to be suspected to be one, let's see how you act when you're not one. And now people are going to think you are. How can you shake it off? That's what I would like to see.
And can you play the game still? Like, will play the game if you're a traitor and just abandon and become like a boring player if you're not a traitor? Or will you shift and become an amazing ally to the other players? Or will you become the faithful that we can't trust? Because you can't play the game as a faithful, but wanting to win almost on your own, wanting to get rid of certain people that you don't think deserve to be there in the end.
So my question to you real quick is, let's say you are on the cast and you are facing the host, who is not as good as you in this scenario. That host is not as good as you. And the host says, would you like to be a traitor or a faithful? Where would you go? What would you want to do?
What I realize is that you don't know what kind of player you are until you play this game. And you could be one type of player next to like certain players and become someone else next to other players. I feel like it's really the combination of you, but the rest of the group that then informs whether or not you'll be like, I don't think we can know, basically, to answer your question. I am sorry that I'm not giving you like a specific answer, but I really think that it's pretentious from anyone to arrive and start to play this game saying, this will be my strategy.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I've always said with these shows, it all depends on what cast you're put in with. You have to play a different game depending on who you're cast with and how you mesh in with that group. So I love that answer. I will take it. I accept it. What is the toughest part about hosting the show for you? Are there any challenges that you faced?
Keeping a distance with them. Because I mean, it was just, I wasn't able to talk. I wasn't allowed to talk to them between like, and obviously the round tables and stuff. But after a few days, I mean, I get to see them being so emotional. You want to comfort them. You want to be there for them. But no, it's not. My job is to be able to be just warm enough. When we were talking about Roger in the Australian version, that's what I loved about him. He was able to be warm enough so players would react with the same kind of warmth and they would be spontaneous. But when he said something more decisive, they were following the rules. But it was also interesting to see, but he's like the James Bond type of host, but he's a man, he's a guy. Me, I watched Claudia host the show, but as a female host, how could I have the same kind of power over them when it was time to just, remind them of what the rules were? Would they listen to me the same way? So we really wanted to maintain that level of attention when she comes into when she goes to the round table and they're all there sitting there, the tension comes back right away. And we wanted to make sure to keep that and not lose that. So yeah, so having just enough fun so that it would bring some warmth, but not too much. And I think the costumes, because I call them costumes, but the looks were really helpful in creating that kind of persona as well.
Yeah, it did feel like you had a charge, a command over everybody, but not in a dictator way. It's my house, but have fun. You can have a good time.
It's that fun. I think we were just imagining, like, she's this lady. She has so much money. She wants to experiment. She wants to say, okay, you think, what if I put all of you together? I want you to play the game. Like, she's not rooting for the traitors more than the faithful, but she wants them to play the game. Don't just stay in your corner and not do anything. Play it. I chose you for that. So that's it. Voilà.
I love that you're here to watch the entertainment play out like the rest of us. So we did see the first challenge of the season, and we did see Trayvon kind of fall at the very end. What was the energy in that moment, seeing this man run a whole kilometer which, by the way, very happy that we're talking kilometers and not miles. I moved to the States 3 years ago, and I still don't know the conversion. So kilometer, yay. What was the energy there when Trayvon does collapse there at the very end with the detonator?
Well, at that moment, nobody knows we don't know who they don't know who the traitors are. The traitors don't know who the other traitors are. So I feel like it was that moment, it was that mission where everyone is still really, it's really just a big group collaborating together. Like, I feel like the game had started, but not quite just yet. So it was quite, I mean, they all cared for him. They wanted to make sure that he was okay. At the same time, they were like, well, if you're asthmatic, just don't do it. Like, don't push yourself to those limits if you can't do it. But I feel like it happened at a moment where they were all still, it was really a team still. So, but everyone was really, and we just wanted to make sure that he was fine. Like, obviously we didn't want to start on our first episode losing a player.
Yeah.
Like, we knew it was to ask them, but I mean, some of the production members had just run the kilometer, so we knew it was, it was not too difficult. But we certainly, so the drama was interesting, but it didn't go on the other side. So we just had enough drama for the first episode, but I'm happy that we didn't lose him. Yeah.
Likewise, I agree. Karine, this has been so much fun. I would love to pick your brain more about this, but I know we're out of time. So thank you so much for joining us. We do appreciate it. And we can't wait to see what the season unfolds.
And I'll go listen to what you said previously. So
Nothing but good things, I promise.
Thank you, Pooya. Thanks.
Thank you so much.